He's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions.
Yo, what's going on, guys? So a bit of a different video for you here today. A little bit of a sad one, honestly. As many of you know, a man called Charlie Kirk was recently murdered. Now, this guy, if you don't know who he is, he was a conservative political commentator, basically. He had a wife, he had children, and he was murdered at, I believe, Utah University, one of the universities over there. Which of course is very, very sad, very awful situation. Now, that is what anybody with any sort of, care for other human beings would probably say, that it's a sad situation, even if you don't agree with what the dude says, okay? I don't like to see people getting harmed. I don't particularly care what political stance they have or whatever. I'm not really interested in seeing that happen to anyone. But of course, I don't speak for everyone, and we have a bunch of leftists who are celebrating the fact that this guy got unalived. So let's take a listen to it. This is from Sky News Australia.
And it's time for Lefties Losing It, and tonight's edition of Lefties will feature some of the ugliness, some of the utter depravity that has followed the murder of Charlie Kirk, a thoroughly decent, principled man brutally murdered today, and the soulless ghouls of the left were quick to celebrate.
There are a lot of people that are like, no matter what side of politics you're on, you should never celebrate something bad happening to someone. I, on the other hand, do cheer when bad things happen to bad people.
Charlie Kirk just got shot. Well, breaking news, folks. Seems somebody just took a shot at one of the Fantafast's favorite 5-mile-wide mouthpieces, Charles Chuckle Kirk.
And sadly, the vile left has not been shy about showcasing their ugliness, their utter callous depravity. This is what leftism does to your mind and soul.
Charlie Kirk got shot and killed. How do you feel?
Happy. Goodbye.
Wow. Did you see that Charlie Kirk just got shot and killed?
That's good.
Wow. That's good. That's good that people are getting shot just off a political view.
Charlie Kirk gets shot and killed today. We're just getting people's opinions. How do you feel about that?
Girl, someone had to do it. And that's how I feel at this point in time. But
I appreciate your honesty. I truly do. So you said someone had to do it.
yes.
This is what I cover all the time on this channel, guys. You know, you'll have like these young women who people are like, oh wow, she's so cute and innocent. You know, these young women on these college campuses, guys, they're just so innocent. A lot of them are just really, really nasty people. You know, like they're just genuinely not good people. Okay, and I think, like, again, I'm one of those people. I don't particularly care if I agree with the person or not. I haven't watched much Charlie Kirk, if I'm honest, guys. But, you know, the content that I have seen from him, some of the stuff I agreed with, some of it I didn't. But I don't want to see people harmed. And, you know, I saw this really sad picture earlier today, guys. Like, this is a dude who's a father. Okay, this is a dude who's a father to at least 2 children, I believe. I saw a photo where there were 2 children, at least in the photo, with what seemed to be his wife. And these people are happy that this has happened. Like, okay, let's just say you really don't like the man. He's awful. He's terrible because of things that he says, which again are words, by the way, mind you. These are words, okay? If this man is so evil and awful, I mean, what about the wife? What about the kids who now have to grow up without a father? That's sad, guys. That is. I don't follow the logic of these people, guys. I really don't.
Try not to get all pulled up into that, but he was a misogynist. He was a disgusting person with disgusting beliefs.
Enough of that trash. Let's look at how the media professionals covered this tragic event, this act of domestic terrorism. Here is MSNBC.
In which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah, and again, emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. We don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea.
What? What am I even watching? Apparently, it could have been a supporter. We just didn't have the information. Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here, man.
Yeah, pretty sure we knew immediately it wasn't that. Charlie Kirk supporters don't go around shooting their guns in celebration like they're attending some wedding in Iraq. And of course, MSNBC had to engage in victim blaming by calling Charlie divisive.
Charlie Kirk is a divisive figure, polarizing, lightning rod, whatever term you want to use. Why?
Well, he's one of MAGA's most prominent voices online. He hosts a near daily podcast.
But that was just stupid. What I'm about to play you is straight out depraved, disgusting commentary. This is Matthew Dowd again on MSNBC, not long after Charlie was shot.
He's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions.
I'm so sick. I'm so sick of hearing these people say crap like this, because who's to define what hate speech is? You know, everyone's always on about, oh, this is hate speech. This is hate speech. This hate speech that. Hate speech that. Right. First of all, what the man is saying are words. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. The dude is saying words on the internet. All right. So let's just park that one away for the moment, and let's consider who decides what is considered hateful in the first place. This is the argument that all of these people love bringing up, man. Oh, this man is so awful because he's such a hateful individual. Yeah, says who? Says you. Oh, but says me and so many other people. Yeah, you know why you say this crap? Because you're offended at what the man says, because you disagree with him. Just because you disagree with him does not mean that he is inherently a hateful person. And again, guys, I haven't watched much of Charlie's content, but of the stuff that I have watched from him, he did not come across like a hateful person to me. Okay? And again, this just goes to show these people who say hate speech that, and they bring up all of this, oh, you know, these words are terrible. Yeah, they're terrible to you. Okay? But again, evidently, this is a man who had a lot of support. Okay? This is one of the biggest in these, in the media's words here on this show. He's one of the biggest MAGA influencers, or whatever they said. Okay? Like, this is no small dude. This dude was a very big deal. He had a lot of people agreeing with him. Okay, and I'm sure a lot of people would consider what he was saying to not be hate speech. Funny how that works, isn't it?
And I think that's the environment we're in, that people just, you can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place.
Matt.
And that's the unfortunate environment we're in.
That was so vile, so hateful, and frankly deranged and dangerous that even MSNBC had to take some action, and they've sacked Matthew Dowd, but it's MSNBC. He may be back before the end of the month. And the asinine commentary wasn't restricted to commentators on MSNBC. Governors joined in. Here is the rotund governor of crime-riddled Illinois, blaming President Trump, the man Charlie Kirk worked tirelessly to re-elect. Governor Pritzker blames Donald Trump for fomenting political violence.
Political violence, unfortunately, has been ratcheting up in this country. We saw the shootings, the killings in Minnesota. We've seen other political violence occur in other states. And I would just say it's got to stop. And I think there are people who are fomenting it in this country. I think the president's rhetoric often foments it.
Did that nincompoop really mention the Minnesota shooter, the trans-identified lunatic who shot children in a Catholic school and wanted to kill Donald Trump? Yeah, it's Trump who was almost killed by an assassin's bullet who is to blame for leftist violence, not these lefties losing it.
He insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take you behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
punch some people in the face.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
This way. That's it right there. Pull it up.
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
I will go and take Trump out tonight. And if you see...
It's funny to me, guys, like half the people making these threats, saying what shouldn't be done against certain people, they're so incompetent as well. Like, let's be honest, okay? Like, this woman right here, going back, this woman here, who wouldn't even be capable of doing what she's saying. Do you know what I mean? It's just, it's so ridiculous. And if we're talking about calls to violence, yeah, these people are certainly guilty of it. Okay? Like, completely ridiculous.
Anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
President Donald Trump has called the murder of Charlie Kirk a dark moment for America.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight, all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace.
And the president noted the spate of deadly political violence from the left. He called such acts, including the assassination of Charlie Kirk, as acts of domestic terrorism.
It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others, radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come.
Let's bring in documentary filmmaker and commentator Ami Horowitz. Ami, this is a dark day for America. I don't think those celebrating Charlie Kirk's assassination, and I've seen, sadly, a lot of that on social media, I don't think those people understand what they have unleashed.
Yeah, and here's the real problem, okay, at least for the people who think that this was a fantastic idea. All this has actually done is galvanize Charlie's supporters. Okay, so essentially, you have probably just created, I don't know how many Charlies out of this. Okay, there are a great many people who will see what has happened to this man, and they will not be happy about it, and they will be galvanized in that particular direction. Like this will absolutely come with consequences. This isn't something where, oh well, he's gone now, you know, we can just move past it. The left got their little victory. No, that's certainly not how this is going to go. Okay, again, this has affected a lot of people. A lot of people care very deeply about this guy who was just taken. Okay, so if you think all of that care is just going to go nowhere, and people are going to be satisfied, for example, if this assassin is caught. I don't think there's going to be satisfaction there. I think people are going to be deeply, deeply unhappy about this. They're grieving. They're very sad, and rightfully so, to be honest. Like, again, all this does is galvanize people. If you want to sit here and say, oh, well, all of Charlie's supporters, they're just horrible people, you've pushed them further away. Okay, that's all you've done. You've just made the whole situation incredibly worse. Okay, because all of these people who you're trying to label as hateful and terrible and all of this sort of stuff, you know, at a certain point they're just going to say, okay, the words don't mean anything anymore. I don't care. Label me whatever the hell you want. And that's, you know, when the words stop having an effect, that's going to be a real problem for these people.
The anger, the sadness over this assassination is profound.
Yeah, I think you're right. And before I spit fire, and believe me that I will, let me take a step back and talk about Charlie for a moment and just some personal anecdotes. I considered him a friend. Even though we were a generation apart, he was somebody that if I had a question or some advice, I'd call them and reach out to him. He's so generous with his time. The first time I met him, God, it was well over 10 years ago, maybe 13, 14 years ago. He was a teenager. He was just starting Turning Point. I think we met at a PragerU conference in California. And somebody introduced the two of us. So this is a guy you should know. His name is Charlie Kirk. He's a comer. And Charlie had been fundraising for Turning Point USA, right? It was the beginning of this organization. And in our conversation, he was talking about the people he's raising money for while he was there. And for anyone who knows who raises money, who has investors, you keep those things close to your vest, right? That's the lifeblood, the money that keeps and creates the organization you're creating. And he mentioned one of these billionaires that he raised some money from. And I just mentioned, just casually, that's a great guy to get money from. I've been trying to reach him for years. Not even asking for a favor. And he immediately said, here's the guy's cell phone number. Give him a call. I'm sure he's happy to help. Okay, that was the kind of guy Charlie Kirk was, okay? A friend to all, a hater of no one. He criticized people, but he did not have hatred in his heart, which makes this even more difficult. Look, I have all types of friends, right? I have friends on the far right. I have friends on the far left. I have friends everywhere in between. And I got to tell you, Rita, I am scared to call some of my friends on the center left, never mind the far left, to talk about this. I'm afraid what they're going to say. Going over the social media, going over Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and listening to what people are saying, even on the mainstream media. I heard you talk about MSNBC over and over again. I think it's important to note the callousness in which they're covering this saddens me and scares me. And
you know, dudes like this, I don't particularly understand. Okay, this guy here is like, well, you know, I have a bunch of friends on the left, but he doesn't want to contact them because he knows they're going to say vile things about this situation. My question is this: if you know that these people are vile and they're going to say awful things and they're going to display morality positions that you don't agree with, why would you be friends with them in the first place? This is something that always confuses me, is people align themselves with people who are morally questionable. Like, do you not understand that you don't have to be friends with these people? You don't have to talk to them. That's what I do in my life, guys. If people annoy me, okay, or if I have people who I don't like, you know what I do? I don't talk to them. If I think someone's morally repugnant, I do not speak to them. Okay, oh, that's nice. They sent me a message. I'm not answering, not talking. Sorry, not happening. These dudes I never understand, guys. I really don't. You know, being friends with these people who hold these sorts of, you know, this sort of, I guess, moral position against other humans, because that's really what it is, okay? It's being fine with people getting murdered who you disagree with on a verbal level. I don't want to associate myself with people like this. I don't. And I don't understand people who do that.
And if a friend of mine said to me, oh, I'm so happy Charlie Kirk is dead, I don't know if I could talk to that person again. I got to be honest with you, Rita.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just one divide, and it's blaming it's so funny. It's the left blaming the victim, right?
Yeah, okay. So go and have these conversations with your so-called friends. And then any of the people who have this particular position, who are happy about this situation, never talk to them again. Problem solved. I think that's the way. You don't. Why is this guy scared to reach out to these people? No, reach out to them, see where they stand, and if they stand somewhere that is just morally awful, then don't ever speak to them again. Really simple solution to the problem, in my opinion.
He deserved it, what he said. By the way, he wasn't an alt-right figure. He was a mainstream Republican, right? He believed in family values. He believed that if you're a woman, you're a woman. If you're a man, if you're a man. He didn't have hate in his heart. He was about openness. He had a...
Just by the way, this guy makes a really good point. A lot of people on the quote-unquote far right would not consider this guy to be far right at all. This guy had pretty, from what I've seen of him, he's had pretty tame opinions compared to those that would otherwise be called far-right individuals. There are dudes, there are people out there who would be considered by mainstream media to be far-right individuals, and they would look at stuff like this, what this guy says, and they'd say that's standard run-of-the-mill stuff. Okay, that's not even close to being far-right. And again, a lot of these people they have no idea what they're talking about. They love to throw around labels. They love to say, this guy's hateful, he's terrible, he's this, he's that. And it's just really sad stuff to see. Guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. Again, bit of a sad one, but I did want to cover this. Obviously, very big news at the moment. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.